Hey guys, have you ever seen that bumper sticker? It says, "I'd rather be fishing." When we see that, we usually think that means I'd rather be fishing instead of working, right? I'd rather be fishing. I don't want to be at work. The thing is, at least here in the Rocky Mountains, fishing is a lot of work. I mean, it's just like work. Heck, your alarm clock, if you have an alarm clock. I mean, I've learned over the years to wake up and not need an alarm clock. But for most of us, the alarm clock goes off at 3 a.m. We have to get up, pack all of our gear, load it in the truck, go drive for possibly hours, get to the trailhead. Again, here in the Rocky Mountains, we're not just driving up to a lake and loading our boat from a dock. We're hiking a good couple of hours to get to some secluded lake or stream, river. And that's a lot of work. And then we spend the whole day out there in one spot and we migrate to another spot. By the time we get home in the evening, we don't even want to unload our stuff as we're exhausted. That's a lot of work. But think of it. I'd rather be fishing than at work. And for a lot of guys, I mean, these could be corporate office guys. They sit in a nice, cushy office, air-conditioned office, have their coffee and their lunch, and it's really possibly not that much work. So if we think about things this way, it's not work. Work is a blessing. It's built into the fabric of reality. Let's go to the Christian text. We'll go to the New Testament, John. Jesus here is debating with the Pharisees about healing on the Shabbat, I think. And he says something basically like, "My Father is always working, and so am I." What does he mean by that? I mean, he wasn't necessarily fighting against keeping the Sabbath. He kept the Sabbath. He's talking about a deeper truth there. He's talking about work being the fabric of reality. And when he says Father, let's just go here real quick. He's not talking about the big man upstairs. He's not talking about some father type man with a beard on a throne sitting up in heaven. He's talking about the source. He's talking about the fabric of all reality. He's talking about the sacred name behind the name. Hashem, the name that can't be spoken. The Ein Sof, the eternal essence, fabric of all reality. Why is work built into this fabric and it's not ceasing? Maybe we don't need to know why. Maybe we just need to know that it is. It's part of our reality. Therefore, we don't need to escape work. You know, my last video I talked about resigning from my corporate job. I'm not resigning from work. Work is a spiritual thing when you align yourself that way. You know, there's another bumper sticker. And this is really where the problem is. I think it's a play on the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs or something like that. But it says, I owe, so off to work I go. Again, going to work. I mean, work is something you do. It's not something you go to. So what is the going to here? It's going to a job, a place that you're you've basically given yourself over to and enslaved yourself into because you owe. And why do you owe? Because you've spent money on things. Materialism, consumerism. You've had desires your whole life, and you fulfill these desires, and you get in debt to fill those desires. Therefore, you owe. You know, in the Vedic texts and Eastern traditions, and even in Buddhism, desire is, it's really the root of all suffering. If you can limit desire, you limit suffering. Think about it. Everyone thinks, if I was a billionaire, I could have anything I want. I could buy this car, I could buy this yacht. Even billionaires, they have strong desires, they want more, and they suffer because they can't get what they want. So desire is one of the aspects that really does bring suffering to our lives. Now that goes to a deeper level. If we can get rid of all desire and accept reality as it really is and be fully content, yeah, are we going to limit suffering? We are. But there's a phase of that where you can actually let those desires pass away and then restructure those desires in a spiritual way and fill your vessel with an aligned desire. Things that are not based on the ego, the egoic desires, but based on spiritual alignment. And that's what we need to do with work. Instead of selling ourselves into slavery because we have desires and we have things we want to buy, we need to align ourselves with what fulfills us. And work can be fulfilling. I would say work is fulfilling. It's built into the fabric of reality and existence. Think about the changing of the seasons. It never stops. The cycle is continuous. Everything is continually growing and moving and working and becoming more and more. Work without ceasing. And we're to work. We are to work. I've always worked. Even when I was a little kid, I used to mow people's lawns, and I had a sign I put up at the local post office with my phone number on there. They could pull the tag off and get my number so I could go to their house and clean up their dog poop for them. I just felt I needed to do something, and I've always been that way, and that's why I was an entrepreneur for 26 years, building my own businesses and doing things and creating value for other people. Now, a lot of those things, again, my mindset wasn't where it needed to be, and I really was doing a lot of those things for money as well, and that's really a problem in our society. So when we think about work, let's separate it from just money. Let's think about value. Let's think about things we love to do. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, well, I love to fish, I'm going to become a professional fisherman. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about aligning yourself with the satisfaction of work. And here's another example. Let's say you got a garage. It's full of junk and stuff. It's an utter mess. You've been putting off cleaning it for over a year. And one weekend you're just like, let me do this. Let me just get started. Because you know when you get started, that's the hardest thing, getting started. But you get started. And after a couple of hours, it's starting to look better. It's not so bad. And then you're actually starting to enjoy it. You're putting things where they belong. You could see the vastness of your garage, and you're like, oh, this is great, and this should go here. And let's say you find a pile of extra wood you had for another project there, and you just like, I'm going to build a shelf. And you build that shelf, and you start putting stuff on there. Now you've spent the whole weekend. It's Sunday evening, and you're just finishing it up. And you're so satisfied with it. Heck, you even probably take pictures of it and put it on Instagram or something and tell all your friends. That was work. You know what? And you didn't make a dollar. You didn't make a dollar for doing any of that. But there's a sense of satisfaction in work. And that is just built into the fabric of reality. So yeah, I left my corporate job because it was sucking my time. It was not spiritually aligned with the essence of how work should unfold from your spiritual life. It should flow out of you. So if we could not condemn work by like combining it with the job, and I have to get money. Just because I'm not going to a corporate job, I will not stop working. I've got tons of projects I'm going to do. I still will be working. I'll still be producing even money, because in our society we need money. Because food, we have to buy our food with money. We have to get gas in our car with money. But I'm not going to sell myself into the system, give my time over where I have to be somewhere 9 to 5, and it defines my life. Rather, I will work. I will do what needs to be done, and I will enjoy, and I will align myself with things that I feel are spiritual. And it's not even a feeling of spiritual. You don't have to feel something as spiritual. It's actually just an awareness. You have to realize that every aspect of life is actually spiritual. And that's like, I'll bring up the Matrix movie again with Neo. When he finally seen the Matrix, I mean, he could see, you know, the code and all that. Everything's built in code. Well, it's the same thing in life. When we understand that the divine is in and through everything, every breath. The divine is the breath behind our breath. When we meditate or pray, we think about the breath, and we're doing breath work. So many people miss it's not the breath. It's not the actual physical breathing that we're so focused on. It's the prana, the energy, the source behind the breath. That is the essence of our life. And that's just one aspect. That's just breath. Think about everything. Think about these trees, the sun, everything in life is spiritual. And so it is with work. Align yourself spiritually with work. Learn to love work, because you're loving God. It's God works. It's built into the fabric of reality. And so when you learn to love work, you can align yourself with what you love. Now, we're going to talk about find what you love and do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. I'm not trying to make that point. I'm talking about work itself. You know, in Judaism, there's the idea of Torah Lishmah. What is Torah Lishmah? It's studying Torah for the sake of Torah, not to gain anything from it on an egoic level. It's the same with work. Work Lishmah. Work for the sake of work, because it's built into the reality. Let's work. And now if we need to make money, which we all do, take that mindset to how you work. How can you create value for your life and other people's lives, and align yourself there? Do things that are satisfying. They might be hard. Cleaning that garage out that whole weekend might have been hard, but you can align yourself with things that are hard, that you feel the satisfaction, and you're helping other people. You're helping yourself. You're aligning with the fabric of all reality. So that's my advice. If you watch my other video and you see I quit my corporate job and now I'm just going to live in the woods and not work, that's not it at all. I'm working. I'm going to work nonstop until the day I die. And then I'll continue working. Why? Because the ocean, does it stop producing waves? Does it stop being the ocean and producing waves? It always does. The essence of our life will always be moving, will always be waves produced. And so it is with work. We'll always be working. Just like Jesus said about the Father, the source. He's always working. So we should always work. And we should find something. Not something, everything. We should find it in everything. And align ourselves spiritually with this and understand that everything we're doing is a spiritual thing. It's not like when I went to my corporate office, that's why it was hard, because I had to put on my dress clothes and go into this office and be the businessman. Put on this mask of, the business consultant manager. And then when I come home, I sit in the woods and meditate and I pray and I pursue spiritual paths, and I get up early and I read scripture and texts, and then I have to put the mask back on and go to the corporate office. I don't want to wear these masks. I want to just work for work's sake. I'm studying Torah Lishmah. Study Torah for Torah's sake. It doesn't have to be an egoic thing that you have to get something out of it. You can just be and exist and enjoy life. You can enjoy work. You just have to change your mindset. So I'll leave this video short, but that's my advice. Learn to enjoy work and understand that it's built into the fabric of reality, and you are that reality. All right, I'm going back on my walk in the woods. I'll talk to you next time.